All right, so are you ready to do a deep dive into this Dodgers World Series win?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, talk about electric. I still can't believe they pulled it off.
Game 5, can you believe it?
Yeah.
The Yankees were right there, and then bam, the Dodgers just swept them off their feet, 7-6 final score.
A real nail biter. Yeah, you can definitely say that.
We're going to be looking at all sorts of stuff for this deep dive. News articles, photos. Some of them feel like they're practically buzzing with energy.
Mm-hmm.
And get this, we've even got some aerial footage to play with.
Oh, wow.
Get ready to feel like you're right there in the middle of it all.
You know, it's funny, looking back at this win, it really kind of reminds me of when the Dodgers won back in '88.
Really?
Yeah, you see that same kind of like citywide euphoria, That feeling like anything's possible. I mean, it's contagious.
I know exactly what you mean. It's like the whole city just erupts.
It does. It really does.
And everyone's just swept up in it. It goes way beyond just the sport itself, doesn't it?
Well, that's Los Angeles for you. They know how to celebrate.
Oh, yeah, they do. This time around, they went all out. City Hall lit up in Dodger blue.
Yeah, I saw that.
Even LAX and the Hollywood sign, they got in on the action, too.
Wow, that's commitment.
Serious Dodger pride.
Yeah.
You know what really blew me away, though?
What's that?
The visuals, the photos, the videos. I mean, KTLA's Sky 5 was up there catching it all.
Oh, yeah.
Fans flooding the streets, fireworks going off like crazy. You could practically feel the energy through the screen.
It's incredible how these visuals tell these, like, two different stories at the same time, right?
Oh, totally.
On the one hand, you've got these amazing shots of pure joy, like families celebrating together, strangers high-fiving on the street. It's beautiful.
Yeah, like the whole city was united in that moment.
Exactly. But then on the other hand, you start seeing images of the police trying to, like, break up crowds, and there were even reports of vandalism and looting going on.
Yeah, definitely a darker side to all the excitement.
It's a reminder that things can get kind of complicated. When you have these huge, spontaneous gatherings, it can be tough to keep things under control.
Definitely. And the LAPD ended up having to issue dispersal orders as the night went on.
I bet.
It's almost like we're seeing a tale of two cities, right?
Yeah.
This incredible win, bringing everyone together, but also these more chaotic scenes playing out at the same time.
It definitely adds another layer to it all.
It does.
Yeah.
It makes you think about that balance between celebration and safety.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about this kind of spontaneous outpouring of emotion. It's a lot for anyone to handle.
Speaking of handling things under pressure,
Yeah.
let's talk about Mayor Karen Bass.
Okay.
You see her on social media right there with everyone else celebrating the win.
Right.
But then as things start getting a little out of hand,
Yeah.
she's also the one urging fans to be responsible to stay safe.
Oh, wow.
She even promised a citywide celebration later on, almost like she's trying to steer that energy in a more positive direction.
Yeah, makes sense. It's a tricky situation to be in, right? You want to celebrate this huge win for the city, but you also got to make sure everyone's safe.
It is. It's like walking a tightrope.
It is. It's a delicate balance.
You know what gets me, though?
What's that?
Even with all the craziness and excitement,
Yeah.
there are these little moments of pure human connection that just shine through.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. It's those little details, those individual stories that really give you a sense of what this event meant to people.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
there's this one photo that really stuck with me.
Oh, yeah.
It was a shot of these fans outside the 33 Taps sports bar in Silver Lake.
Uh-huh.
They're all huddled together, eyes glued to the screen, completely absorbed in the game.
Wow.
It's like a perfect snapshot of a shared experience.
Yeah.
You know, this whole community coming together to witness history.
It really makes you think about the power of these shared experiences, right? Like in a world where we're constantly bombarded with information.
Yeah.
Do these moments of collective joy hold even more weight? Do they remind us of what connects us even in a city as big and diverse as Los Angeles?
It's a good question. And it feels like we've only just scratched the surface here. We've got this incredible win that goes way beyond just baseball. A city bursting with pride.
Yeah.
And then this whole other side. The challenges of dealing with a celebration of this magnitude.
Definitely a lot to unpack.
So where do we go from here? What does it all mean?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We see this tension between the euphoria, the pure joy, and then the need for control the realities of keeping a city of millions running smoothly.
Yeah.
It really forces us to think about how we as a society deal with these massive displays of emotion.
It does.
How do we allow space for authentic celebration while also making sure that everyone is safe?
Yeah, it's like trying to bottle lightning. right?
Exactly.
You want to embrace the energy and excitement, but you also got to make sure things don't spiral out of control.
Right.
So how do we find that balance?
Yeah.
How do we make sure future celebrations are both joyous and safe?
That's what we'll be exploring next.
We'll dive deeper into those questions when we come back.
So stay tuned.
Don't go anywhere.
You know, it's wild how this one event, this Dodger win, it's like it just shines a light on so much about us, about how we are as a society.
It's like holding up a mirror to the city almost, right? You see the good stuff, the unity, the pride everyone's feeling.
Yeah.
But then you also see those kind of cracks, those challenges that come up when you've got so many people all letting loose at once.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, right? Like, is there any way to be more prepared for this kind of thing, for these big celebrations?
So we're not just looking back, we're actually trying to find some solutions here.
Well, yeah, I mean, this isn't exactly the first time we've seen celebrations get a little out of hand.
True. And so what kind of solutions are we talking about? More police, stricter rules?
Not necessarily. It's more about finding a smarter approach, you know? Maybe designated areas for celebrating better communication between the city and the public.
Okay.
Maybe even using social media to encourage people to party responsibly. There's got to be some creative ways to tackle this.
It's like, how do you bottle that lightning? How do you harness all that energy and passion in a way that's both fun and safe?
And that's $1 million question. It's about finding that balance.
It is.
And it's not just about the city coming up with solutions from the top down.
Oh, okay.
It's also about empowering communities to kind of self-regulate, you know, to create that sense of shared responsibility when everyone's out there celebrating. It's about building a culture where respecting the city and each other is just as important as having a good time.
Right. I'm with you there. But what about those images we saw, the vandalism and the looting? Even with everyone feeling good, things can still go south.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Some people might say it's just a few bad apples ruining it for everyone else.
Right.
Others might see it as a sign of some deeper issues, frustration, lack of opportunity, feeling like you're not being heard.
So how do we even start to unpack that? Where do we begin?
I think it starts with talking about it, right? Acknowledging that there's no easy answer, that it's going to take a multifaceted approach. We got to address the immediate need for safety, but we also got to be working on those bigger societal problems in the long run.
Man, we went from Dodger blue confetti to some pretty deep stuff here.
We did.
But I think that's kind of the point, right? To dig a little deeper and really try to understand what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where do we go from here?
I think we keep searching for that sweet spot, you know? We acknowledge the challenges, but we don't let them overshadow all the good that came out of this win, all the joy and unity that people felt.
Okay.
And maybe, just maybe, this whole event can be like a spark that gets people talking, that starts a conversation about how we can do better next time.
Do better at celebrating.
Exactly. How we can find a way to handle these huge moments of excitement in a way that works for everyone, that's both celebratory and safe.
So it sounds like we're trying to write a whole new playbook for celebrating responsibly in this day and age.
I think so. A playbook that takes into account all the complexities of our world,
Right.
but that also holds on to that spark of joy and excitement. That's what makes it all worthwhile.
Think we can pull it off.
I think we have to, don't you? And this is where you, the listener, you come
I'll
in.
bring the listeners into the mix.
Absolutely. This isn't just about rules and regulations. It's about creating a culture of responsibility,
Okay.
of understanding that when we celebrate, we got to do it in a way that respects our city and the people around us.
And we're calling on the listeners to step up to the plate here, to be part of the solution.
Exactly, because this isn't just about the Dodgers. It's about what kind of community we want to be. And this Dodger win, maybe it can be the thing that gets us thinking about that more deeply.
Okay, so we're back, and man, I'm still riding that Dodger high. But beyond the celebrations and the confetti, there's a bigger question we haven't really dug into yet.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
What does this win and how we celebrated it really say about us, about Los Angeles, about how we connect with each other and the city itself?
That's a good one. You know, it's interesting how this whole thing kind of becomes a snapshot of what's going on in society as a whole. Well, think about it. All that instant reaction on social media, everyone posting photos and videos, it really shows how much technology shapes how we experience these kind of events now. You almost can't separate the celebration from how we're sharing it online.
It's like we're all plugged into this citywide heartbeat, right? We see the good, the bad, the crazy, all playing out on our screens in real time.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, right? Do we actually experience these events differently now than we did back in the day?
Yeah.
Like back in '88 when the Dodgers last won?
That's a good point. Back then, it was more about being there in the moment, right?
Yeah, more localized. Now it's instant global. Everyone's connected.
So does that change things? Does it change how we feel it?
Well, it definitely adds another layer, doesn't it? It brings up a whole new set of questions.
Like what?
Well, like in this world of curated online personas where everyone's always trying to present the perfect image of themselves,
Yeah.
do these kind of raw, unfiltered moments of celebration actually give us a glimpse into something more authentic, more real?
Ooh, I like that. So you're saying maybe we're more ourselves when we're caught up in the energy of the crowd, when we just let go and react in the moment.
It's a possibility, right? It's like all the rules of everyday life kind of get suspended for a night.
Yeah, like no filters, no
Yeah.
carefully crafted image, just pure emotion.
Exactly. And maybe that's why these events, even with all the potential for chaos, they still draw us in. They give us a chance to connect with something bigger than
I
ourselves.
feel like we're part of something.
Exactly. To feel that sense of belonging, that shared experience.
Wow. So we've come a long way from just talking about a baseball game, haven't we?
We have.
Now we're talking about what it means to be part of a community, to share in each other's joys and disappointments, to figure out how to celebrate in a way that works for everyone.
Exactly. And maybe this Dodger win, with all its ups and downs, can be a starting point for a bigger conversation. A conversation about how we as individuals and as a society can create spaces for genuine expression, while also making sure everyone stays safe. That we find that balance between letting loose and being mindful of how our actions affect others.
So what's the takeaway here? What can our listeners do to be a part of this conversation about responsible celebration?
Well, it starts with awareness, right? Being mindful of your own actions when you're out celebrating.
Okay.
Maybe talking to your friends and family about these issues, or even just taking a moment to think about how you want to contribute to a city that values both joy and responsibility.
So it's about each of us doing our part to create that balance.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about the Dodgers. This is about us. It's about how we want to define ourselves as a community.
Right. It's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity.
It is. And as you think about this Dodger victory, consider this. How can we each help create a future where celebration and responsibility go hand in hand?
That's a powerful message. And on that note, we're going to wrap things up for today. We hope this deep dive has given you some new perspectives on this Dodger win and what it means for our city.
It's been a fascinating conversation.
It has. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.